You know, it was one of the most bizarre incidents I've ever seen as a sports editor. I was covering a Boston Bruins alumni game in Woodstock, New Brunswick in the winter of 2010. Now, this player took the ice as part of the alumni, which of course included everybody from Ray Bork, Terry O'Reilly, Rick Melton, Rick Smith. But for that evening, I call him the Invisible Man because nobody wanted to go near him, nobody wanted to touch him. And he skated maybe 15 or 20 shifts, and nobody from the celebrity Carleton County hockey team wanted to wake him up. So his nickname is not the Invisible Man. His nickname is the Rat. And by now you know who I'm talking about. Probably one of the most pugnacious players in pro hockey history, say like the alliteration, Kenny Linseman. Now, Kenny Linseman can best be described as probably one of the biggest overachievers in NHL history. Now, 5'11", 175, and a center of all things. Born in Kingston, Ontario, and he came to major prominence with Kingston of the OMJHL over 4 big seasons. Now, he played 3 seasons at Kingston, almost scored 200 goals in regular season and playoffs. Best campaign was his last before his draft year, 53, 74, and 127 in 63 games. Now, he was drafted by Birmingham to WHA, and before Philadelphia took him 7th overall in the 78 draft, he played 1 full year with the Baby Bulls, 38 goals, 38 assists for 76 points. Now there, he was an OMJHL All-Star second team in 77 for Kingston, and made the All-Star team that year again for the Frontenacs. Now, he was rated in the Hockey News draft preview issue as the number 11 overall prospect for the 78 draft. Now, not the nicest guy in junior. He was criminally charged once and eventually convicted of assault for kicking an opponent's head with his skate during his junior career. Now, he challenged the NHL ban on drafting underage juniors in a 77 lawsuit that went through the Canadian court system. The suit was later dropped when Linseman signed to play in the WHA, but it helped open the door for the NHL's drafting of 18-year-olds. Now again, he signed with Birmingham as a 19-year-old underage junior in 77, helping the team earn the nickname Baby Bulls for its reliance on the signing of underage juniors, Michel Goulet, Pat Reagan, Rod Langway, Gaston Gingras, Michel Goulet, the names were endless. Now, the WHA tried to block Linseman from signing his contract because it banned underage signings, but Linseman and his father went to court and got a restraining order that allowed him to play in the league. Because Linseman was older than 18, a judge ruled that he could not be stopped from making a living as a pro hockey player. Now, he made Philadelphia out of camp. His first NHL game was October 12, 78 against the Rangers. Now, he didn't wear number 13 for Philadelphia, but he wore 13 with Edmonton when he joined him for their first Stanley Cup run in the mid-1980s. He also wore number 13 in Boston and 13 in a 2-game stint with Toronto. Now, he made several Stanley Cup finals. He won with Edmonton in 84, but lost with the Flyers in 1980, the Oilers in 83, and Boston in 88. Now, he holds the NHL record of most points in one period of a playoff game, 4 for Boston versus Montreal on April 14, 1985. He also holds most points in one period in a playoff game for Boston, 4 in April 14, 85, shares the record. He was the NHL playoffs assist leader in 1980 with 18. He was Philadelphia points leader in 80 and 82 with 79 and 92. Assist leader with 57 and 68 in 80 and 82. Playoffs points leader, assist leader, and penalty minutes leader for Flyers in their 79 to 81 run. He was Edmonton's penalty minutes leader in the playoffs in 84 with 65. He was Boston's assist leader in 86, and their points, goals, and assists leader over 85, 88, and with 10 and 25, 4 and 11, and 6. He was Boston's playoffs penalty minutes leader with 22 and 87. Now, he was eventually cleared to enter the NHL after Philly paid $500,000 to buy him out of his Birmingham contract. He signed the first NHL contract with Philadelphia at $500,000 for 4 years. Now, again, he played on the Flyer team that set an NHL record with a 35-game unbeaten streak of October 14, 79 to January 6, 80. He played on the Rat Patrol line with Paul Holmgren and Brian Propp for the Flyers from 1980-82. Now, broken tibia hurt him in the 1981 season, but eventually came back for that. And he also was bad with referees. He served 2 4-game suspensions during the 83 season. The second suspension resulted in a fight with Dean Kennedy during Edmonton's February 3rd game versus LA. The fight took place under the stands at Northlands, and Linseman was suspended on February 18th, 83. Now, with Edmonton, he played on a big line with Messi and Anderson in that 84 Cup run. He scored the Stanley Cup winning goal for Edmonton in Game 5 of the finals versus the Oilers on May 19th, 84. Now, he also played with Maine in the AHL and wrapped up part of his Enemy's career with Asiago in Italy. He also was on Canada's Canada Cup team that finished second place. Now, again, he was 83rd overall by the Bulls in 1977. He also played 38 games for Maine team that won the AHL regular season and playoff titles, but was not with the team for the Calder Cup. Now, he was also involved in horse racing during his playing days as part owner of a thoroughbred named Strike Gold. He was an avid surfer during his playing days and also continued to surf for years after his retirement. Now, he eventually moved to New Hampshire and went into the real estate business. Like I said, very active in Old Timers charity hockey upon retirement, especially with Boston. Now, he was a minor hockey coach and is an instructor at the Darren Quinn hockey camps in New Hampshire in retirement. He was a skater at the Heroes of Hockey game at the 99 NHL All-Star Weekend in Tampa and the 2001 NHL All-Star Weekend in Denver. Now, hockey is very deep in his family. His father was Major Junior player Ken Linseman Sr. and is the older brother of former minor leaguer John Linseman. Now, he was probably part of 2 of the most interesting trades of all time. Philadelphia traded him, Greg C. Adams, 82 first-round draft pick, David A. Jensen, an 82 third-round pick, Leif Carlson, to Hartford in exchange for Mark Howe, an 83 third-round pick, which was Derek Smith, on August 1982. Hartford then traded Linseman and Dan Knackbauer to Edmonton in exchange for Risto Silton and Brent Loney to complete the three-way deal on August 1982. More than 70 years later, Philadelphia got Linseman back in a trade when he received him from Boston in exchange for, of all people, Dave Poulin on January 16, 1990. But Philadelphia lost Linseman again when he became an unrestricted free agent after a 90 season and signed with Edmonton on August 31st, 1990. Now, I said Frontenacs, I meant to say Canadians, my apologies. Now, he played 187 games with Kingston with 133 goals and 153 assists, and also added 33 points in 25 playoff games. Now, he also played with the Bulls in the postseason, getting 4 points in 5 playoff games. Now, again, he started the season with Maine and getting 39 points in 38 games. And he had 25 points in 30 games with Philly, again, in that 79 run. Now, the 80 season, he had 79 points, including 22 goals, and 22 points in the playoffs. Now, calling him the rat might be an understatement. He had a great talent for agitating the opposing team to a high level of frustration, leading them to take penalties. And again, that kicking, just like our famous captain of the Russian squad. Now, in the Stanley Cup year of 84, he had 75 points. In Stanley Cup final year of 83, and the second one he had 67 points in 75 games. He scored that year an NHL record 3 series tying clinching goals, since tied by Martin Jalala of the Flames in 2004. Now, after winning the Stanley Cup, Linseman found himself on the move as the Oilers dealt him to Boston for Mike Krushelnyski on June 21st, 84. Now, again, August 31st, 1980, a tail end of his career, he signed as a free agent with the Oilers and spent the 91 season with the team with 36 points in 56 games. Now, on October 7, 91, the Oilers traded Linseman to the Maple Leafs for cash. However, Linseman felt not a good fit in Toronto, played only 2 contests with the Maple Leafs, getting no points. He was then released by the Leafs and ended up playing 5 games in the Italian Hockey League with HHOF, getting 3 goals and 3 assists in those contests, as well as 7 points in 6 playoff games. After a 92 season, he hung his skates up and retired. So, final NHL totals. And I think down the road he should be considered for the Hall of Fame, because you look at the numbers, you look at the tenacity he had. 860 games, 256 goals, 551 points, 551 assists, 807 points. But where this stands out for me, big playoff performer, 120 points in 113 games, 43 goals. Now let's look at the rough stats. He scored 22 goals with Philly in 1980, 24 in 82, 33 with Edmonton in 83, 25 and 23, 29, 27 out of 4 out of 5 seasons with Boston. Very strong playmaker. And I look at that 82 season. Despite 92 points, he had 275 minutes in penalties. So again, but certain injuries hit him, like the tibia and other situations. Now, he was your typical player in the 1980s. Did he fight all the time? No. But his penalty minute totals were pretty massive. Between 1980 and 1991, he averaged about pretty well 120 to 130 minutes in penalties per season. From 1980, 107, 150, 275, 181, 119, 126, 97, 126, 167, 164, 96, and 94. But the playoff performances, you look at Boston 88, 25 points in 23 games, 11 goals. Edmonton in the Cup run, 14 points, 10 goals in 19 games. And big 20 points for the Flyers in 81. If we forget about that quarterfinal team, that was a very strong squad. And 22 points the year before. So if you're looking at the Flyers of the early 80s, they would have made the Stanley Cup Finals in 1980 without him. Edmonton of the mid-80s, he was a big factor. He was playing second, third line consistently. Boston, their playoff run in 88, big part of that as well. But like I said, his career burned out very quickly by the time the 1990s came along. Again, the league was opening up, not as much with the rough play. By the way, he played 4 games at the Canada Cup with Canada in 81 with 1 assist, with only 4 minutes in penalties. Terrible. Anyway, 5'11", 180 at most, maybe 5'10 and a half and a 170. So I go back to that game. If any person from Carleton County can tell me why, when you listen to this podcast, why you never touched the rat, or I call him the Invisible Man, let me know. It's a mystery. Because people in the stands, was a good crowd. The AYR Center, or the Carleton County's, the Civic Center, people were saying, why isn't anybody touching Linseman? Someone tried to high stick Ray Bork, which is kind of par for the course, but pretty bizarre. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a legend of the great Mr. Rat, Ken Linseman. If you like what we're doing here, a vintage podcast, let us know with a like, comment, and subscribe, and keep your stick on the ice. Bye.